All right, as week 2 of the Low Rim League comes to an end, we can now update the power rankings. Coming in at spot 11 is Team Zach. There has been no change since last week. They're 0-2, and in week 2 they lost to James by 17. My biggest takeaway is that this team has a very difficult time scoring the ball. Their key statistics, they're only averaging about 34 points per game. They're shooting below league average from the field. And then to top it off, they're minus 3.5 in net steals per game. Just a very inefficient offense. This keeps them at spot 11. At spot 10, this is still Team BZ, no change. They hit a bye for week 2 and they're 0-1. Not really fair to move them around, but I think they sit well here. Team 9, the biggest drop of the week, is Team Luke. They moved from spot 3 to spot 9. They're 0-1, and they got blown out by Lath's team 51-35. They had a minus 21 in net rebounding, minus 13 in net assists, but actually they shot pretty well from 3 and better than league average overall, except they just didn't have an answer for Lath. Moving on, spot number 8, Team James. This one was tough because they won, but we're going to leave them here no change. They beat Zach's team and they killed him, but this was the last place team. Their key statistics, they're a very efficient shooting team. They're better than league average all over the floor. They have a little bit disadvantage in rebounding and assists, so that's why we're sitting them at spot 8. Spot 7, Tony takes a little bit of a drop. They're 1-1 and he lost to Nick Hamilton's team 51-45. But they did lose to a pretty good team. They're a below average shooting team. They allow the opponents to shoot pretty well from the field, especially from 2. This rebounding is very low. They have minus 12.5 in net rebounding per game. But they do make up for some of that in steals, plus 5.5 net steals per game. Moving on, Team 6. This, I don't even know where to begin about Reed's team. They're 1-1 and they lost to Tyler 50-38. But in the most shocking event to date, Reed overslept and missed half of the game, over half of the game. That caused Tyler to go up against Ryan and PJ in a 2v2 match. Tyler's team did have subs, and just overall, PJ and Ryan were at a huge disadvantage, and that showed. This team is just about an average shooting team. They allow opponents to shoot extremely high from 2, but again, they played Lath week 1, who just bullies down low and makes every layup. And overall, they don't really stand out in any specific stat. They're kind of just average about everything. Moving on, Team 5 is Team Justin. They're 1-1. They lost to Donnie's team 50-34, and it wasn't even close. Overall, they're a below average shooting team. In this game, Donnie shot 14 of 18 from 2 and 15 of 21 overall. Just a psychotic shooting event from Donnie. They're plus 4 in net steals per game, but minus 4.5 in net blocks per game. Team number 4 is Team Lath. They have moved from 12 to 4 in just 2 weeks. They beat Team Luke 51-35 in convincing fashion. Overall, this team is really good from 2, just about average from 3. They're plus 15 in net rebounding per game. That's what you're going to get out of Lath. Plus 6 in net assists per game. But the opponents are shooting slightly above average, so they might need to work on that. Moving on, spot 3, Tyler. They're 2-0. They're the one of 2-0 teams left in the league. They beat Team Reed 50-38, and we already talked about how that game went. This team is really efficient from all over the floor, plus 5 in net steals per game, and they're pretty good defensively as well. Moving on, team number 2, Team Donnie. They had a huge jump this week. They're 1-1, but they killed the #1 team in the power rankings from last week. Overall, they're about average shooting team. They hold opponents to slightly below league average from the field, but extremely low from three. And Donnie, MVP candidate week 2. Moving on, the top spot in this week's power rankings is Team Nick. They're 2-0. They beat Tony 51-45, and they're just a really good team. They're really good from 2, but not so great from 3. They're they're good defensively as they hold opponents to below league average shooting, and they're plus 13 in net rebounding per game. So this is a tough team. The Hamilton brothers are taking the top 2 spots in this week's power rankings.